Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor and I am your host, but I'm not God, obviously. I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. Something happened last week on Instagram where I shared a post and it went viral. When things go viral, it opens you up to an audience that is not your own. And so you get more comments. So typically, anytime I go viral on any degree, the comments get terrible. I think I'm been called fat and unfunny and ugly every possible way. So like it's good, thick skin. I genuinely don't care. This video though, it's going viral and there's no mean comments, but I've learned an important lesson and it made me want to talk about something. So the video is just me talking about how I hate summer. And I feel like it's unpopular to hate summer. And so collectively, as an internet collective, we have to listen to people complain all winter of like, oh, I hate winter and it's dark. And I know people get like actual seasonal affective disorder, but like people collectively just have this free pass to complain and hate on winter. And then summer, it's like you're a dud and you're lame and you're dumb if you hate it. And nobody talks about it. Apparently people are talking about it now, but I just made like a funny video of just like, oh, I hate summer. And innocent enough, right? And the comments, like no one's being mean to me, but it was a negative video. It was talking about not liking something. It was talking about hating something. I have a rule with my content that it has to be positive. Even if I'm talking about something that's hard or real, I always try to instill some hope or some positivity. And I don't mean toxic positivity. I can't wait for you guys to read my book because there's a chapter on toxic positivity that I always want to reference, but I'm trying to not give away everything. It's hard to write a whole book and have a daily podcast and not just like have some overlap. So when you guys buy my book, because you're going to buy my book, right? Please. You're going to be like, oh, I think she's already said this. I probably have. Okay. Cause like one person can only have so many ideas. But there's a whole chapter on that. I have a lot of feelings on toxic positivity. So I mean like genuine positivity. And I believe that real positivity sometimes gets dark because letting it be as bad as it is actually a positive action. Anyways, I have that rule for myself. It's been a big rule ever since I became a creator on the internet. I want to present things positively. I don't like to engage in negativity. And this was just a funny joke video of like, I hate summer so much. I was just like sharing my truth of how much I hate summer. And now that it's gone viral, there's a lot of new comments every day of people agreeing. And they're not bad comments. They're just people also sharing the sentiment. I hate summer. But because they're agreeing with a complaint and they're agreeing with something negative, it's creating a lot of like negativity. Like every time I open up my Instagram app, I see 20 more comments of people hating something. And it has really affected me. And it has taught me this lesson. It's been this good reminder for me of like, that's why I don't post negative content because I don't actually want to sit in the problem. And so here's the thing. It is so easy to find problems with things, especially in our world, especially in religion, especially in faith, especially in anything. It is so easy to find the bad. And years ago, when I was really in the thick of like faith darkness, my brother came out to visit me in Connecticut, and my brother has left faith and returned as well. And I was talking to him as vulnerably as I could. And I just remember saying, like, but what about all of these problems? Like, there's so many problems with faith. There's so many ways to disprove God. There's so much evidence for how bad this is. And he said, there's plenty of people cutting down trees, but not enough people planting new ones. And that phrase has stuck with me forever because the way that I see it is that there is value in presenting the problem, in seeing injustice and seeing things that are wrong and saying it. That is an important step. And too often we're getting stuck in that step and we're not going to the next one because the next one is harder. We can chop down trees. We can clear the forest. It takes more intention, effort, time, and energy and investment to grow the new forest, to plant the new ones. And so I think we all have different jobs. We all have different callings. We all have different purposes. We are all supposed to do different things on this earth. And I think that my job is the next step. There are people whose job it is, I think, to point out and to speak give voice to the problems. And I think that's important work. There's a difference between that work and just mudslinging and complaining and pointing out problem, and never offering or working toward a solution. And so I want to be very clear. I'm not criticizing other people who are giving voice to important problems and injustices and speaking it and bringing awareness to it. But I've always seen my place in that next step of what are we going to do about it? There's a lot of problems with religion. There's a lot of evidence that God's not real. There's a lot of dissonance. There's a lot of broken trust. There's a lot of hypocrisy. There's a lot of everything in religion specifically and in the world. I was reminded through saying, I hate summer, how it makes me feel, though, to constantly engage in the problem rather than the potential solution or even just the perspective of hope or light or turning it into something, alchemizing the problem into something. Because the beauty of a problem is it gives us the option of finding a solution. And there's light and progress and hope and growth in solutions. But it was a good lesson and a good reminder for me of what I want to create and what I want to engage in. And for me, I lose the capacity to be able to create and carry on and to do anything when I'm stuck in the problem and when I'm complaining and when I'm focusing on that. So every time I open my app, seeing more comments of people hating something, it just drags me down. It's cutting down the forest. And there's enough people cutting down the forest. There's not enough people planting new trees. There's not enough people over here. It's not always the popular content. It's not the content that gets people fired up because it's so much easier to find the problem. And it's cathartic and it's validating to talk about the problem, to complain, to find the justice in saying, that's not okay. That's not fair. I see a lot of problems. I deal with a lot of problems, but I've chosen to engage in the light. And we need more people over here. So even though it's a dumb little post about hating summer, I just have, and I could delete it. I don't regret it that deeply. It's like not that big a deal. This is not that deep. But it's just been like the best little nudge to me to remember, hey, you don't actually like engaging in the complaining and the hate. So pick a side. Which one are you going to engage in? But there's enough people pointing out the problem. There's enough people cutting down the trees. Please join me in planting new ones. Love you. Bye.